Dave Smith is all about, he's pro-life now. He said he's done with being a pro-life minarchist. Let me just talk about this for a second, then we'll get into this. This is why you want the ANCAP guys on your side, because those are the guys that will say the tough truths if they believe them when no one else will say it in their environment. Like Dave Smith, I've always said, is a great fucking dude. He's not lying. And so he's like a hardcore libertarian to ANCAP, like Mises Institute, like hardcore freedom guy. And minarchist is a insult to those guys. It's actually really funny. Minarchist is like you believe in like a tiny government, you know, and they're like, but logically it always expands. You know, they have this whole setup. I'm not an anarcho-capitalist only because I've never ever seen that ever happen ever. And then people were like, yeah, but they said that about slavery. And I'm like, yeah, well, there's still slavery. There's actually more slaves now than when we abolished it. It's like, you just move it out of your purview. I know the state is bad. The whole state's the deep state. There's no difference. The state is an agent of coercion and horror. Always. I just want to see one time when it, because that's the irony. It's like my mind works very scientifically. I'm like, I just want to see an example that worked. And then I'm in. But anyway, Smith, he says he's not being an abortion minarchist anymore. Because I was like, dude, listen, we all know there's a difference between like late term and early term. Is when you see that little cell, it's pretty hard to like, you know, see a baby and all that. I'm like, but there is no logical argument to say when life begins. And if you don't have an argument, they'll take it to the house, man. They'll take it right up until birth, and then they'll take it after birth, you know? Because as Jesus said, you know, what you do to the most vulnerable, you do to me. And that is heavy. It might not be the right wording, but I've always been lost in the wordings, but not the meanings. So I'm doing his show. But yeah, so New York, and he just had a baby too, and that's a big changer. And so New York legalized full-term abortions. And anyone who defends that at this point is, I can't even have them in my life, you know? I just don't even know how to, they like cut the baby's throat, guys. And I'm not trying to be horrific. It's just, you gotta know what this is. And so this is Moloch. There was a band of sketchy Jews that used to sacrifice babies, their own babies, their firstborn babies, they'd burn inside Moloch. And look at those horns, right? And so I made the observation that the pussy hats made by the Women's March literally look like, they don't look like horns. They look like someone with horns wearing a hat. You know, they have the two bumps, and that doesn't look like a vagina. I think they rely on dudes who never get sex to be like, oh, that's a pussy hat. It's like, that's not what a pussy looks like. If anyone's ever seen a vagina, it doesn't look like it has horns. And so someone, I don't remember who it was, but someone made that. That's powerful. You know, because the pussy hats look like they are tributes to Moloch. And I've been pro-life for a while now. And it's about time everybody is. And this isn't one of those arguments where I'm like, I don't see the other side. Of course I do. I was pro-choice for a while because of propaganda. My first child changed the game completely. I'm not going to lie. And I don't have shame in that because I was saying what I believed was true. But holy fuck, would I have shame in that if I, like Roe v. Wade. You guys know about Roe v. Wade, right? Something that the mainstream media won't tell you is Roe v. Wade, who got the world to legalize abortion, said she was raped. Turns out she lied, and she's now a born-again Christian. Roe, from Roe v. Wade, is now a born-again Christian because she understands that her soul was manipulated and used for the deaths of hundreds of millions of babies. And that weight, and the doctors they used admitted they were lying, became born-again Christians. I'm dead serious. No one talks about this, but people say Roe v. Wade. It's like, have you checked in on Roe lately? Roe said that she was raped. Wasn't raped. They used her. And then she saw the result. And the guilt almost destroyed her. And she found Christ. And I wish her well. I mean, good for her. Everybody makes mistakes. That's a fucking doozy. But it's not her fault now that people aren't telling her story. I'll tell you that. Because she repented and she prayed and she found Christ. But what she did was horror. And she knows that more than anybody. And they used her. And she was probably seeking approval and like the attention at the time. I have no idea. But like, it wasn't because she woke up one day and said, I want to create 100 million baby genocide. That isn't how evil works. They use carrots and sticks that work on you in the moment that you don't perceive yet as snakes. And if you still watch mainstream news or anything, it's like Roe admitted she lied and is now a born-again Christian. Don't you think that would sway people's views on fucking abortion? And so Dave Smith is now fully committed. And I thought that was hysterical. And I'm doing Alex Jones, even though, listen, it's scary being dudes like us. Roger Stone, we're basically in a fucking banana republic at this point. Roger Stone just got arrested, perp walked, CNN was already there for like some like tiny lie thing. I don't even fucking know. But, you know, Alex he's on the chopping block. And so people are turning on him and all that again. And of course, dude, do you think I want to go to fucking jail? Guys, it's like I have a family that I would do anything for. But that's the whole thing. It's like you got to support your guys when they're fucking getting hammered. Or else you got nothing. That's how predators hunt. They make the zebra scatter, and then they isolate the weak, and then they take them, and then they get the next one, and then the next one, and they'll get to you. You're not saving yourself. You're only ensuring your own defeat. And I have nothing but contempt for all the comedians that just took the money. And God, did they take the money. You would be blown away if you knew how much a guy like Joe Rogan makes on his Netflix specials. Millions. Millions. And if people are like, oh, you're a hater because you want that money. No, it's because these pigs took money over honoring it's not a sacred oath of being a comedian or anything, but like when people say like, oh, language is violence, words are violence, all this shit, and you go, yeah, that's problematic, you should censor yourself. You just turned on your own people. Like that is fucking unforgivable. You know, and that's why Jesus saves. And I know we're all programmed to think that's like what retards down south say. Oh, Jesus saves, man. Like people use that to mock people. You realize that, right? It's like, you better find Jesus, bro. Haha, retard. It's the only way out. Or else, like, you got to face up to shit. And dude, my sins were nothing compared to this shit. I never betrayed anybody. I never did shit. I was like a little into sex. I don't even have guilt about it. Because it's like culturally, it's like nothing. But like these people literally fucking turn on their own people and watch them burn for money. And I know when people are capable of being like educated or going towards the right direction. And you don't have to be Christian. You don't have to be I'm just telling you that if you are on a path of truth, you'll eventually get somewhere where there's no more digging. And it's like, at that point, you know, and atheists that get it. I have tons of fans that are atheists. But they're not those cunty God. I believe Richard Dawkins believes in God and hates him. Like those type of atheists, like the guys who believe in God and hate them, is like Richard Dawkins. Like, you're not spending your life humiliating and spitting on Christianity when you just are a guy who doesn't understand certain things, or maybe hasn't seen true evil and tries to judge. I don't know. But I know atheists that I trust. I know atheists that I know are good people. I just think if you stay on that path long enough, it has to lead to God, or else like you run out of questions, you know? And especially if you face evil. I didn't start really believing in God until I saw pure evil. Betrayal. You know, it's like, you know, the harming of children for social status. This is going to sound fucked up. I think that's almost worse than some pedophiles. Like, some pedophiles are broken toys. They just need to be... You know what I'm about to say next. I'm not going to say it on YouTube because, I don't know. It's just a dumb trap to fall in. But we all know what you do to rabid animals. But the intent is just, they're stuck on a loop. They're sick. Whatever. To be like... And I'm not demeaning the horror of it. You know what I just think that those people need to just go. Like, but to like not even be a pedophile and to serve your fucking children up to Moloch just so people like you at fucking parties. You can't fucking explain that without understanding the concept of evil. Like pure, unadulterated, black tar fucking evil. And so once you understand that, I think that there's really not a lot of paths you can go down that don't like get you there, you know?